Hey everybody, Eric Johnson, neuro exercise specialist here at Movement Revolution. I'm excited to be bringing you everyday mobility for people with Parkinson's disease. These exercises should help improve your daily mobility. These can be done each and every day. We can't stress enough how important basic stretching is to help manage Parkinson's disease symptoms such as rigidities, tremor, maybe a limited arm swing, or maybe that leg doesn't swing through as much as you'd like it to as you're walking. All of these stretches will help address the big major muscle groups that are commonly affected by people with Parkinson's, as well as those who are just generally very, very active. As far as other equipment for today goes, we have a chair. I do have a stretching strap, or a belt even works well if you don't have a stretching strap. But if you want to get down to the floor and you want to have a mat nearby, you can have that as well. All the muscle groups that help you walk, that help you move, hips, hamstrings, quads, calves, all of these muscles can get really, really tight the more you move. Really important to keep them active because it helps us walk better. So for our hamstrings, that's the muscle on the bottom side, the back side of your leg, okay? Just above your knee, it goes from your knee up to your hip. Commonly a very, very tight muscle. So what we're gonna do is sit up in your chair, nice and tall, right at the edge of your seat. You're gonna extend one leg straight out, okay? You want that knee to be as straight as possible, okay? And then you're gonna sit up nice and tall on your seat, take a big deep breath in through your nose, and as you exhale, you're gonna gently lean forward, taking your nose towards your toes. Keep your gaze slightly upward so your back stays nice and flat. We don't want to be rounding forward here at the chest. Keep your chest nice and strong and tall. Okay, you should feel a nice pull on the back side of your hamstring right here. Okay, you might also feel it down into your calf if your calves are very tight. We don't want to feel it in your lower back. Okay, hold this stretch for one more big deep breath in through your nose. And exhale out your mouth. Okay, let's go back over to the other side. Okay, we're going to extend the opposite leg nice and straight. Sit up nice and tall to begin with. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale. And slightly lean forward toward that leg. You might notice that there might be one side that is slightly tighter than the other. That is completely normal. We tend to have a dominant side on top of the Parkinson's symptoms, maybe affecting more than one side. Because if you do have a side that's a little bit tighter, I want you to address that side one additional time with that stretch. Let's hold this side for two more big deep breaths. One more deep breath in. And back out. Let's come back up nice and tall in our seats. So my right side was a little bit tighter than my left. So I am going to go back to my right side and stretch that leg out one more time. Again, those sides, the sides of your body, those asymmetries that you might have, we want to try to eliminate those as best we can. And especially with stretching, if one side is tighter than the other, it's probably your more dominant side or the side that's not moving as much range of motion. So we want to make sure we mobilize that muscle as much as we can. So I'm going to extend my right leg out. I'm going to take a deep breath in and out, and then lean forward. Okay. A general rule that I like to give all of our clients is to hold stretches for a certain number of breaths, as opposed to looking at a clock, right? So I usually say 5 to 15 deep breaths, depending on the stretch and depending on the tightness of that muscle. So hamstrings tend to be really, really tight, so we're going to hold that for anywhere between 10 to 15 deep breaths. Okay, they might seem like a lot, and if your breath rate is pretty fast, it's hard for you to take a deep breath. Okay, maybe you need to do a few more. But the key is listen to your body. You want to feel like you're getting a little more active range with each and every stretch. Okay, let's take this for another 2 deep breaths. In through your nose and out your mouth. Very nice. One more time. In through your nose and out your mouth. Very good. Now we're going to go scoot to the side of your chair. My chair does have arms on it, which makes it a little bit more challenging for this stretch. But it's going to be to help stretch out your hip flexors and quadriceps, those muscles that help you pick your legs up as you're going upstairs or walking down the street. these muscles become very, very tight, especially if you find yourself sitting more throughout the day. Okay, so I'm going to scoot to the edge of my chair. I'm going to swing my leg over to the side. Now make sure you have a good base to support with your chair. Make sure your chair is not too tippy. Okay, your other leg that's not going to be extending back is going to be firmly on the ground out in front of you with a wider base. Okay, so depending on the chair, you can kind of help that leg back. If you can't get it all the way back, no worries. The further you can kind of get your knee behind you or in line with your hip, the more intense this stretch is going to be. This is a great seated quadricep and hip flexor stretch. Okay, so you're going to extend that knee down toward the floor. You're going to kind of relax your toe of the back leg. If you want to make that stretch a little bit more intense, you can flex your toe up, and that will feel more of an intense stretch in your quadriceps. Okay, so from here, you're at the edge of the seat. You're pushing that knee down toward the ground. Okay, it doesn't have to touch the floor, but push it kind of some downward effort, pushing that knee down, and then you're going to gently lean back in your chair. Okay, you should feel a pretty good stretch in the quadriceps here, maybe up into the hip flexor. If you want to feel a little bit more in your hip flexor, you can kind of squeeze your bum on that. So it's my left side, my leg is down. I'm going to squeeze my bum on my left side. That's going to intensify that stretch and get me more of a pull on the front side. So you can kind of lean back in that chair as you go into that stretch. Again, this might feel pretty intense. Make sure you're still breathing, right? In through the nose, out through the mouth. Very good. Let's come back up. We're going to go over to the other side of the chair. We're going to stretch out the other leg. Okay? So I'm going to take that leg back behind me, push that knee down toward the ground. I like to make this stretch a little more intense, so I'm going to tuck my toe on the right side. I'm going to kind of pull it up toward my shins. Once I'm there, I'm going to sit up nice and tall and gently lean back in my chair. If you need to hold on to the armrest, that's okay too. Okay, just find a reasonably comfortable position and take some nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through your mouth. Okay, you should feel this, again, the front side of your thigh. Okay, if you're feeling any kind of achiness in your knee, let's find a different way to do this stretch, or maybe not take your leg so far back. Okay, this stretch should not hurt. None of these stretches should hurt. We want like a mild discomfort is what we're going for. Okay, deep breath in. And back out. Very good. Okay. We're going to bring that leg back up. Again, my right side tends to be a little bit tighter than my left, so I'm going to go back over to my right side to try to address some of that mobility asymmetry. Okay, so I'm going to take my right leg back down. If it's your left side that felt a little bit tighter, go back to that side and do that and repeat this stretch again one more time. Okay. So you might feel you can get that knee a little bit lower, lean back a little bit more in your chair, okay? Those are all good things to do to try to maximize the stretch when you do it, okay? Deep breath in through your nose and out your mouth. Very good. Okay, so we have done a stretch for your hamstrings, maybe a little bit in your calf. We've also done your hip flexors. These are very, very important stretches and very important muscle groups to maintain your mobility with. They help you move better every single day, okay? Opening up your hip flexor allows you to pick your knee up with more ease, okay? Stretching out your hamstrings allows you to take that longer, bigger step, okay? Really important things for us to try to work on. Now, oftentimes our hips get really tight as well. So your groin or your adductors, if your stance becomes really narrow with PD, okay? The inside of your thighs might get pretty tight, okay? Making that narrow stance even more presentable. So we want to try to maximize the mobility of your hips for that reason and for balance and stability, but also just general mobility and movement helps you get out of your car easier, helps you run a little bit more efficiently if that's what you're doing, okay? So what we're going to do here is with a wide base with your feet, okay? You're going to use the width of that chair, okay? You're going to reach down, so keep your back nice and straight to start. Your hands are going to be inside your knees. Take a big deep breath in, and you're going to reach down almost like you're tying your shoes. You're going to kind of reach down towards your ankles, okay? You can tuck your chin down a little bit if you want as well. You can kind of round that back out. It's a good lower back stretch as well. Again, if this causes discomfort, especially in your lower back, let's try to find an alternative stretch. Maybe try one standing, okay? But this is a really important stretch to stretch out the inside of your groin, okay? Adductors and your hips, okay? Hold it for one more big deep breath. Very good. Let's come back up. Now, we're working into our trunk and some of our postural muscles. Our trunk rotation, really, really important, right? Getting in out of bed, turning, any kind of racket sports or golf. That trunk rotation is really important for arm swing as well. So this is a very good stretch for that. Very basic. You're going to sit up tall in your chair, maybe sit a little bit further back in your seat. I'm going to take my right hand across to my left knee. Okay. I'm going to take my left hand, put it on the back side of the chair. Okay. And I'm going to rotate and look over my left shoulder. I'm going to try to find a spot on the wall of an object or something I can see, some sort of landmark that I can look for. Okay, you're going to take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, try to turn a little bit more. Okay, now as you're holding that stretch with my right hand that's on my knee, I'm going to try to extend that arm and reach down a little bit lower toward the floor while maintaining an upright position. And I'm going to look one more time, big deep breath out, over my shoulder. Very good. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Come back to the center. Okay, big deep breath in. Let's take that left hand, cross it over to the right side. My right hand is on the back side of this chair. I'm going to look over my shoulder, over my right shoulder, and again, try to find a spot along the wall. Every time you take a big deep breath out, I want you to try to gaze a little bit further behind you. This is also really good for cervical range of motion, getting your jackets on, right? This time of year up here in the Midwest, we got to deal with that snow and cold weather. But if it's raining where you are, maybe you need to get that jacket on too. So always a good thing to practice. Very good. All right, let's come back to the center. One more stretch that I'd like for you to do. Again, this is just everyday basic stretches. These can be and should be done on a daily basis. There's no harm in stretching every single day, right? Really, really important. But we're going to work on some opening up of the chest. So from the chair, I'm going to have you reach back behind you. My chair, every chair usually has a back to it, right? Unless you're on a bench. But I want you to reach back and try to see if you can grab either the seat of your chair and the back side. So you're going to scoot forward to the edge of your seat. Okay? I'm going to reach behind me and try to grab some portion of the chair, whether it's the back of the chair, okay, or the seat. Make sure you're not lifting and tipping that chair forward. You want to stay nice and tall. Okay, grab the chair with both hands. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Okay, that's going to help open up your chest. Okay, you can kind of lean, as you grip the chair, kind of lean forward slightly as you squeeze your shoulder blades, and you should feel a nice stretch right across the front of your chest. Okay, if that hurts your shoulder, maybe you lessen that stretch a little bit. And now as you're here, you take a big deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want you to look up toward the ceiling as you pinch your shoulder blades. Okay, that should help open you up even a little bit more. Okay. Another deep breath in, and back out. Deep breath in, and out. Okay. Now again, this is a 10 to 15 minute stretch, right? It doesn't take that much time out of your day. If you feel like some of these stretches or some of these muscle groups are tighter than others, come back and do them again, right? Come back and do these on a regular basis. Whichever ones feel the tightest, do those more, right? So in all cases, listen to your body. Stay tuned for additional videos that are going to help activate some of these, right? So we're going to eventually build strength on more mobility. We can build more strength on a more flexible muscle, right? And then we can activate that muscle with more power, more amplitude, bigger movements, right? That is our primary goal, but we gotta stretch first. So I hope you enjoyed these stretches for today. Thank you for joining us. And when in doubt, think big, move strong, never quit.